there. I thought today I would show you a recipe that I have on my website, wartimewisdom.com, for corned beef fritters. This was a very good way to use up a lesser desired kind of meat, and it was a tinned meat. And tinned meats were being sent over to a lot of countries and were also available in the United States and other allied nations, where sometimes fresh meat that people were used to was harder to get. So this was a good way to have a meal with some meat or meat flavor, and these little fritters go with lots of other recipes. So I'd like to show you how to make them, and I will link at the bottom of this video to the blog post where you can see the corned beef fritters recipe and the whole post about them. So let me move my camera and I'll show you how to mix these up. They're very easy and not too many ingredients. First, we're going to mix the first half of the ingredients, which are 2 ounces or a 1/3 cup or 56 grams of flour. You can use all-purpose or self-rising flour, and a pinch of salt, 1 egg yolk, or what they might have used in World War II would be half of a reconstituted egg. For most, that would have been maybe 1.5 tablespoons of the dried egg mixed with water. But you would have to read the package if you want to try that, but that is an option here. And also 1/4 cup of milk or milk and water mixed. A lot of times during World War II, milk was hard to come by and was rationed out more for children and nursing mothers than for other people. So just blend this up very well, and then we're going to add the other half of the ingredients. So that took about a minute or so. It's not hard, but you do need to stir it pretty thoroughly to get the flour completely smooth, which is what you want. And then we're going to add a pinch of dried herbs. And what I use is a little bit of parsley, thyme, tarragon, and basil mixed. That's what I like. You could use whatever dried herbs you prefer. And we're also going to add a teaspoon of grated onion and a teaspoon of chopped parsley, fresh parsley. If you don't have fresh parsley, you could use dehydrated parsley or freeze-dried parsley. And if you don't have fresh onion, you could use dehydrated onion flakes or onion powder. So there are options here. And then we're going to add 6 ounces of finely flaked corned beef. I'm going to mix this all up, and then what we'll do is heat 1 ounce of fat of your choice. I like to use about 2 tablespoons of butter and about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. You do need to have your frying pan hot, so it's debatable whether you want to use something like olive oil, but whatever can withstand a little bit of heat. And again, just whatever fat you choose. And we're going to drop these by spoonfuls into the hot fat and fry them. It just takes a couple minutes per side, and then they're done. While I am at the part of adding the corned beef, I want to mention something that you need to look out for with these tinned goods all the time, whether you're dealing with home canned goods or things you buy from the store. I am using half of one of these tins of corned beef, and you could double this recipe easily. If you had a larger family, that'd be the thing to do. But this one is a 12 ounce. I don't know of a 6 ounce modern day. Maybe that's the way they had it back in the 40s, was in a 6 ounce can. But whatever size can, whatever you're dealing with, you need to check the can. I always try to be careful not to buy dinged or dented cans. That's just personal preference. But a dent in the metal is just the little bit more chance that botulism could, that there could be some danger to the contents of the can and it could cause botulism. And I noticed I have a couple of these cans and I just grabbed 2 of them for this recipe today so I could show you one and open one. And I noticed when I was cleaning the top and the bottom of the can, this one was, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not really sucked in the way metal can lids should be. And this has give on it. It's not, I don't think this is properly sealed, so I think I'm going to be tossing this can, unfortunately. And the other can that I opened, I was measuring it out on my scale, and it wasn't even a full 12 ounces. One was 6, I divided it into 2 bowls, and one was 6 ounces, and one was 5.7 ounces. So, sad commentary maybe on our food situation today. I'm not sure if they dealt with that back in the 1940s or not. Who knows? But you might just want to look out for your brands that you use. I may investigate another brand now that I know this brand doesn't have the correct weight in it, and I'll be more careful to check the meat cans in the future. So just wanted to pass that along because that could be a life or death thing. Let me move my camera down where you can see the frying pan, and we are ready to heat the oil and get these fritters done. Okay, so here I have my 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the avocado oil. I use avocado oil for things like this, for anything I do that's a higher heat cooking, just because it's a good high heat oil. It can take a higher heat than, say, olive oil before it gets to the smoke point. Butter also doesn't have a really high smoke point, but mixed with the avocado oil, it works. And I love the taste of the butter on the fritters. So you choose whatever you and your family like. So as soon as this melts and the pan is good and hot, we're just going to put in spoonfuls of this batter. My hands are just washed and clean. It's a miracle I have any skin left on them. They get washed so much. Okay, these take only a couple of minutes per side, and they need to be served as soon as possible after you make them. Okay, I flipped them over and the first side is done. That took maybe 2 or less than 3 minutes, I think. And the other side is cooking now. So I will get these out and put the last, looks like I'm going to have maybe 2 or 3 more. And I'll be back when those are in. I did want to mention though that if you're not a real fan of corned beef, especially canned corned beef, which I am not, these are still very good. You might want to give them a try. Somehow the other ingredients and the way this recipe is prepared makes the corned beef flavor very light, and it has a good flavor, but it's not pungent in this recipe. So it may be worth a try if you're looking for something for a pantry meal that you could just pull the things from the shelf and not have to go buy meat, or if you just need a quick meal that's not very expensive. So just wanted to mention that. Here is the second batch, in, about halfway done. So these 7 that I'll end up with are what a portion for a family of 3 or 4 people would have been during World War II. I've noticed in all the recipes pretty much that their portion sizes are noticeably smaller, especially of desserts. But this might have been served with a lot of salad or vegetables, which were the most plentiful things. So that, all in all, even with filming this, took me maybe 20 minutes. It's not hard to make at all. It's a good quick meal, and they really are delicious. They're very good. And like I've told you before, I'm not crazy about canned corned beef, but this is really good. And by the way, this is canned corned beef, not canned corned beef hash that has the potatoes in it. This is only the beef. So this is what they look like. I drained them for a few minutes on a paper towel just to get a little bit of the oil out. And I will say, this is an American World War II recipe. I do not think anyone in England or Britain in general or Europe would probably have been able to take 4 tablespoons of fat for just this one dish. And it wouldn't be easy to clarify and reuse what little bit of fat was left over because this would be a pretty strong flavor, and it's meat, so it couldn't really be kept very easily, especially back then without refrigeration. Now today you could for a couple of days. The little bit of fat that I had left over would be delicious to saute cabbage in or something. So I would use that amount of fat if I were in that situation that they were in World War II. Maybe if I could afford the fat. That's a lot for European countries, allied nations where the fighting was going on. And if you're today trying to be more conscious of cost, I know butter has become very expensive. So I did have a little bit of leftover oil, and this could probably have been fried in maybe half or slightly more than half of the oil that I used. So hope this helps. Let me try one of these for you. These are so good. I really hope if you try them, you will like them. They're very light. They just have such a good flavor. And the corned beef you can taste, but it's light. You could even crumble these into something like sauteed cabbage if you wanted to. But they're just a good, inexpensive, quick meal option if you're in a hurry or need something right off the shelf. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you'll check out the blog post on my website, wartimewisdom.com. Thanks so much. See you next time.